So in my last video, I put up a vote for what should I consider as my next car. AP2S 2000, GR86, the FDRX7, or the MD, and the MX5. As it stands right now, the GR86 is in the lead. To my surprise, I thought it would be the AP2S 2000 because I know a lot of you came from the S2000 community. So I also said something key there in that video, and I said I also want a different daily. So that got me thinking, why don't I try to kill two birds with one stone? Why don't I get a vehicle that can do both, something that's fun to drive but act as my daily so I don't have to drive the C8 every day? And so that leads me to what I'm going to do next is another poll. I'm going to leave the older poll up, but I'm going to start a new poll. In this category, will go up against, the winner of this category will go up against the GR86 just to kind of see what the community thinks. But it has to check the box of manual transmission and four-door plus fun. So these new vehicles that I'm considering to go up against the GR86 is number one, the Honda Civic Type R, the 2025 FL5 in particular, because I like the styling. The FK8's great, and I did a video before, a sim video, a review on the FK8 a few years ago actually, and it kind of parroted best motoring. But the FL5 I really do like. Now, this is different than the cars in the last video because this is front-wheel drive. If you notice, all the other cars in that video were manual transmission, rear-wheel drive. I've only owned one other front-wheel drive sports car, and that was my 2010 Mazda Speed 3. And out of all the cars I owned, I think that was one of my least favorite. It's that torque steer, that feeling of when you step on the throttle mid-corner is, in that understeer it generates, is not cool. Now, as I understand it, the FL5 tunes a lot of that out to perform more like a rear-wheel drive, and the suspension is really stiff. And I'll need to drive one because I have not driven one yet. But that's probably my biggest fear. With that being said, I love the Type R brand. I've always loved it. As a big fan of Initial D, I remember episode 6 of season 4, Project D, when Takumi raced the EK9 Type R, and it's one of the coolest episodes of all time, and that's where he does blind attack. And best motoring back in the day, the Type R would just compete against, and it would punch above its class, and it's a reliable track racer. So I hold a high regard for the Civic Type R. I love the interior, the red, but the downside is how expensive these things have gotten. Where you're pushing close to $50,000 for a front-wheel drive sports car. When I bought my STI back in 2015, I think I paid like $35,000. Granted, times are different, I know, but anyway, top contender, has 4 doors. I can fit a child seat in there. I can bring my wife and my son, and we can have a fun day. Next on the list would be the brother of the Type R, of course, the Integra Type S. It's a little bit more comfortable. It's a little bit more mature. I don't like the seats as much, but it's, again, that mature interior. But performance it's there. It's the same. A little bit softer, more compliant ride, but I would have to drive it. The downside would be the price tag. It's a little bit more expensive for that Acura badge. So we'll see what you all think about that. But thirdly on the list is the GR Corolla. You know, that 4-door all-wheel drive hatchback is basically the modern day STI hatch. And it's even cooler that it has a 3-cylinder engine, because I've never owned a 3-cylinder engine. And not like that's anything to brag about. It's just cool what they're doing with it in that car, in that platform. And you could have a lot of fun in it. When I first heard about the GR Yaris, I was like, man, I hope we get that in the States. But they did us one, I don't know if I would say better, but they gave us the Corolla, and that's okay. I'll take that. I'm a fan. Problems aside, I think that would be a fun option. Not that I need the all-wheel drive, it's just, it's a fun platform. And then lastly, I would consider the WRX. But I say that with a grain of salt. I mean, it's probably my least favorite on the list. I think from a price point perspective, it's more affordable if I just go with a base WRX. It's all-wheel drive, it's turbo, but the engine doesn't excite me. I don't like low red lines. I don't like low revving engines. The previous generation, I thought looked better. I thought it was, I wouldn't say it's more capable, but it felt more like a true WRX. And my 2015 STI was an amazing car. And I know that they've refined this one more and they've put a lot of work into it, but it's not my favorite. If I did go for that, it would just purely be from a costing perspective. But yeah, the way it looks, it's not doing me any favors. But yeah, those are the 4. Whichever one comes out on top from here, I would put up against the GR86 and see. None of this is finalized. I'm just throwing ideas out there and seeking what the community feedback looks like, testing the waters. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And by the way, this hoodie I'm wearing, this is one of the brands I designed on my TeePublic store, which you can find on my profile. It says, and it's copying off of the Initial D logo, maybe not copying, borrowing, and it says Jesus Disciple, Son of God in parentheses. The reason for that is, what this channel is about, and this is for those that struggle to talk about their faith. And so when the majority not knowing what it means, they may come up and ask you what it means, and that's your opportunity to have that conversation should you need to or want to. So check it out. Something I'm teasing and messing around with, but this is actually a test fit. I just got it today and I wanted to check out the material of this hoodie, and I got a shirt as well. But yeah, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the community section on the vote tab. After I post this video, I will make that poll, and then we'll see from there. But God bless you and your family. I'm out.